We're going to kind of recap their first three games. They're playing today. They got the Chicago Cubs in Pure. Randy Vasquez is going to be on the mound. Randy Vasquez vying for that fifth spot in the rotation. 20 starts last year, 2-2 record, 4.87 ERA through 98 innings. I thought he got better as the season went on. I wish him the very, very best. And again, you always stay healthy. Cubs are going to send left-hander Matthew Boyd to the mound. That game going to get underway at 12:10. Friday at Peoria, the opener. Padres defeated the Mariners 5-2. Manny homered on the first pitch he saw. How about 428 feet? I mean, he took that thing out of the yard, a two-run dinger. Gavin Sheets, a young guy, 28 years of age. And you know what? I think this guy's got a real chance to make the ball club. He went 2 for 2 with two doubles and an RBI. But a couple of things. Number one, this guy's got really good power. Now, he didn't have a very good year last year with the Chicago White Sox, and the Padres end up signing him to a minor league contract. I don't know where it's going to go. He can play first, he can play left, he can play right. But kind of an interesting story. His dad, Larry Sheets, who had a really nice major league career, was the Padre hitting coach, Victor Rodriguez's roommate down in the minor leagues. And so there's a kinship there with Larry Sheets and Victor Rodriguez, and now Victor's coaching Larry's son, Gavin. Gavin Sheets, a left-hand hitter who's got some big-time power. And, I was reading an article over the weekend talking about, there was a point in time where he was trying to drive the ball to the ballpark all the time. And then there became a point in time where he kind of got passive aggressive, was trying to work the count. Some guys can't work the count. And we've seen that here in San Diego. Last year they were, they drew their walks, but they swung the bat and they didn't strike out. That's one of the reasons the Padres had such a good year last year. They put the ball in play. With two strikes, they put the ball in play. Nothing ever good comes from a strikeout. You never have a chance to get a hit. You don't have a chance to move runners up. And so I think I'm going to be watching very, very closely in the spring how Gavin Sheets progresses under the tutelage of Victor Rodriguez. I think they may have found a guy that can help him. I don't know where it's going to go. He may end up hitting 190. But I do think there's something there to work with. And I'm going to be watching very closely to see the adjustments he makes and if he becomes a little bit more aggressive at the plate. But what I've seen so far and what I'm hearing has been all positive, but we'll see where it goes. Also, another guy to watch for, a guy that's got major league experience, Oscar Gonzalez. I talked a little bit about him last week on our podcast. In the opener, he went 2 for 3 with a double. Last year, he got hurt. Only played in about 78 games in the minor leagues last year. But another guy you got to keep your eye on, got major league experience. Maybe he ends up going to AAA and ends up, getting up here a little bit later in the year with an injury or a guy maybe not getting the job done and they decide to give him an opportunity. We'll see where it goes with him. Padres used 9 pitchers, and for the most part, they threw pretty well. I thought Logan Gillespie threw very, very well in that ball game on Friday against the Mariners. And then Saturday, and I'm going to get into Matt Waldron a little bit more. This is kind of my pet project for the spring is keeping tabs on Matt Waldron. But Padres on Saturday beat the Athletics 10-3. Luis Arraez, coming off that left thumb surgery, swinging the bat with some authority. I mean, I could see a big difference in that swing. I mean, he won the batting title last year, but his swing looks even more dialed in right now. And that's kind of unusual early in spring. Man, he laced 2 ball, 1 to left, 1 to right, 2 for 2 in the game. Jackson Merrill had a 2-run single on a 2-strike count. I think it was 1 and 2, and he laced it over the shortstop's head for a 2-run single. Oscar Gonzalez came back with a 2-hit game again, his second double of the spring, an RBI. Matt Waldron went 2 innings, 2 hits, a run, 2 strikeouts. And then yesterday, Dodgers snapped a 3-3 tie in the 8th. They put 5 runs on the board. They beat the Padres 8-3 over at Camelback Ranch. Ethan Salas RBI double off the center field wall. So Padres right now 2-1. They play the Cubbies later today. Okay, I want to get into talking about Ethan Salas. He's a guy that I really like. And I know everybody say, well, he's a top prospect. Yeah, but he didn't have a great year last year. He really didn't. And we'll see how he fares this year. And I don't know where he's going to go. I would think they may send him to Double A. Double A would probably be a great spot for him. Now, he played in Fort Wayne last year, and I want to give you his numbers. And then I'm going to give you his numbers for the Arizona Fall League. And then I'm going to tell you what I think about this kid overall. He's 18 years of age. He's going to turn 19 on June 1st. But go back to 2023. He was rated as a top international free agent coming out. Padres signed him for a record at that time, $5.6 million. Last season in High A Fort Wayne, he played in 111 games. Some of them were DH, but most of them behind the plate. He had 206 with a 288 on base percentage. That's not very good. But his power numbers weren't bad. Right now, he doesn't have man strength. He's a young kid playing a lot of baseball, and he's developing. But he had 27 doubles last year, 2 triples, and hit 4 home runs. Drove in 53 runs. His OPS was only 599. He had 412 at bats, struck out 98 times, walked 47, and he also stole 10 bases. So then they sent him to the Arizona Fall League. He played 23 games. He had 107 plate appearances, 92 at bats. He hit 228, but had more power. 21 hits, 6 doubles, 4 homers, 21 RBIs, 327 on base percentage, a 751 OPS. Going against good competition. I mean, he was going against guys that are going to be playing in the big leagues this year. Ethan Salas is going to be okay. I mean, those numbers last year in High A ball were paltry. But here's what I'm going to say. I always, with ball players, I tend to side on the side of caution. I'm not a big believer in promoting guys just because they made a lot of money. I want guys, number one, to earn it, but I want them to be ready to play. I don't want to set a ball player up for failure. You look at some of the great organizations, and I'll look at the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis Cardinals, all the years that I've watched them, from being a little boy to being an adult, I watch their guys, when they come up from the minor leagues, they're ready to play. It's not like a work in progress. Their guys know how to play. Ethan Salas is going to be, I think, a star. I really do. And we're talking about his offense. Let's talk about his defense. His defense, I think, is outstanding for a youngster. I mean, he's scratching the surface right now, folks. He's scratching the surface. The kid's got quick feet behind the plate. He handles pitching staffs for being 18 years of age, I think, very well. He's had great exposure in spring training each of the last 3 years. I remember 2 years ago when they threw him into a spring training game, and I told AJ Preller this when I saw him over the holidays. I go, AJ Preller, I go, Sal's is going to be great. I go, I knew he was going to be great the day that they let him pinch hit in an exhibition game and he hit a ground ball to second base. He got a good swing. He's going to be a good hitter. I don't know if he's going to be a 300 hitter. Probably not. But hell, I'll take 250, 260 with a little pop. This kid does have some pop. And you saw it yesterday, that RBI double he hit off the center field wall against the Dodgers. But behind the plate, he's got a good arm. He's got quick feet. Stays low, gives the umpire good vision behind there to call balls and strikes. Seems like he's got a good demeanor behind the plate. This kid's the full package. He just needs time. And I don't want him to be rushed. When he comes up, I want him to be able to come up and stay up and be a fixture with his organization forever and ever. Okay, for a long term. And here's the other thing. Let's say the Padres were to bring him up this summer. Okay, it'll be this year, well, depending on when they brought him up. But again, you'd have him under control for 6 years. It'd be 19 years of age. He could be a free agent shortly after he turns 26 years of age. I don't want him to become a free agent at 26. I'd rather him become a free agent at about 28. Okay? Because right now he's in the developmental process. Don't rush him. But I'm going to tell you what, I think a lot about catchers because I was a catcher. I worked a lot with pitchers, and I catching right now is at an all-time low in professional baseball. I'm not going to say the big leagues, but all-time low because guys, it's hard work. It's really, really hard work back there. And there's so many things that are asked of you. It's not just throwing down the signals. I mean, you got so many things to deal with these days. The pitch clock, what your manager wants, what your pitching coach what your pitcher wants to throw, scouting reports before games. I mean, there's just a lot to navigate. But this kid has got great physical tools. And I think it was so smart by the Padres to re-sign Elias Diaz. You got a veteran in camp, but then they go out and they bring in, and I don't know where he's going to end up or if he'll end up getting released at the end of spring training, but Martin Maldonado, who's been one of the best defensive catchers in baseball for a long time. He's 38 years old and he was a backup for a long time. He was a starter for a number of years. Last year, he was with the White Sox, had a rough year. They released him, but the Padres signed him to a minor league contract. And he's in camp. He's right there every day with Camposano. Diaz is 34 years of age, Maldonado, Salas, Brent Sullivan. Do you realize how much Ethan Salas can pick up from these veteran catchers like Diaz and Maldonado? Maldonado's won a gold glove. I mean, he caught for the Houston Astros. I mean, he caught Verlin. He caught all the big boys. And man, I'm telling you, Ethan Salas is getting baptism by fire working with these guys. I think the world of Salas. I'm really, really high on him, but we got to be patient and bring him up when he's ready. Let's hope that he goes to double A. And I would think they would start him in double A this year. I think he's ready for double A, even though he only hit 206 last year. But you got to remember, the year before that, they moved him all around. He actually finished in double A at the end of his true rookie year in professional baseball. And I really don't know what that was all about. I know they said, well, they got a bunch of pitchers there. They're going to get to the big leagues. Well, a lot of those guys are not even with the organization anymore, but they moved him all over the place that first year. He was in Arizona. He was in Elsinore. He was in Fort Wayne. He was in San Antonio. So now he's got one full year under his belt in Fort Wayne. He got good Arizona Fall League, got a little rest, kept working out. Now he's in spring training. We'll see where it goes. But I'm really high on this kid. And I think he's going to be a star. I think he's going to be an all star. I really do.